Hey, what's up, people? So it turns out, like I was saying in my last video, which you will never hear, probably starting off with music playing isn't the best. For whatever reason, they got me, and they were like, gotta turn off the audio forever because you had like 3 minutes of music on there. So, you know, the ever mighty YouTube, you know, doing whatever it does for people. I wonder if the companies even care, if like the people that you're supposedly, you know, taking their copyright or whatnot, do they even mind? I'm just sitting here drawing pictures and stuff. Makes you wonder if they even care about people like me. But clearly I'm not here to jack them or any of that stuff. I'm not even working in the same game as they are. Oh well. YouTube has spoken. Either way, in that last video, you can watch it if you want and just play your own music over it, I guess. Just imagine what I'm talking about. But let's see. Yeah, the last time I was working with the small brush, like I said, I worked from the big brush down to the small brush, then down to the nibs, the medium, fine, small, and extra small. So I worked my way downwards, and right now I'm on the medium. And I think a lot more of this picture will start to get fleshed out to you guys. This is where I left off with with just the brushes. So anything that had cover a lot of ground, do the thick outlines, the heavy shading, those spots. But when I get to the nibs, I finally actually start working on the actual line work and things like that. So this is where people can be like, okay, I see what he's doing, yeah. I'm sure before now you look at that, and it just looks like a bunch of random stuff. But it's still the medium. So it's a big brush tip. So it's still kind of like what I was doing in the last video. I was explaining, trying to find a way to explain the method. One of the good ways that I found out was that I work from big to small. It's a lot like a tree, where a tree, you know, starts at the trunk. Trunk is like the thickest part, and then it branches out, and as the branches branch out, they get thinner, smaller, things like that. It's kind of like how I was explaining my inking process in that last video. So I'm just continuing to do that, where I'm just working off of, you know, kind of like where I left off with the brushes, kind of just branching out from those. That way, you know, kind of fine-tune the sloppy brush work, give it a little more footing. Yeah. I'm trying to do my best to keep like I did in the first video and work from the bottom left to the upper right. I feel like that's the best way to try to make sure I get everything. That way I'm not looking all wild across the page trying to find, you know, what can I get with this medium-sized nib. Yeah. Right. So just working on this Donatello. Really do love all the gadgets that he had. Thought that was a good addition. Brilliant idea. Whoever the concept artist was that came up with that. Donnie was always the mechanic, the guy working with technology, putting things together. So yeah, I like that. I like that I have him in the forefront. You know, if I drew any other ones, you know, maybe Mikey would have been interesting. You see, any of them could be interesting up close. It's not to say that they're not. Just Donnie with all these gadgets, it's for sure the most interesting. I heard he died in the comic books recently. Spoiler alert. Not that big. I mean, I don't know how it happened. I haven't read it. But, you know, I see all the posts online. And I love it. When I saw the post, they were like, oh, and he's dead for good. This isn't like Marvel or DC where they come back. I'm like, are you kidding me? Do you guys not know anything about the Ninja Turtles? Like, I could see them dying and come back. I'm sure there's like some magical teleportation, you know, other dimension technology that they can eventually acquire and bring them back. If that's what they want to do. And we can do with the three Ninja Turtles. They'll bring them back eventually, even if it's to start, you know, to kind of start from scratch. You know, how many times have the X-Men been redone, or Avengers? You know, once they redo the Turtles, they'll bring Donnie back. He's not gone for good. People are so dramatic sometimes, man. Still, I think it was probably the first time it ever happened, so it was pretty interesting still. definitely getting a lot more. Definitely getting a lot more detail in. Can you see this? Yeah, starting to flesh them out. That's what's up. You know, it's funny when people look at my portfolio or they'll look at my artwork or whatever. You know, people just kind of walking by or whatever, walking through Artist Alley. They always look at my stuff and the one word I keep getting is wow. But that's it. I appreciate it. I like it. It's not necessarily bad. It's better than ooh, something like that. But it's kind of like, you know, what's so wow? Is it good wow, bad wow? I mean, I get that there's a lot of detail going on, a lot to take in. Kind of how I do it, but I wonder what it's going to take to try to invoke another response, something I can understand. Last thing you want to do is ask somebody, oh, what do you mean, wow? What are you trying to say? So, as much as I appreciate it, I do keep getting it. So, I'm just trying to up the wow factor by drawing 3 of these things. Anyone who hasn't watched any of the previous videos, I kind of went over how this is like it's a color project with turtles. When they first started, they were all, you know, the comics were black and white. And then when they finally got color, they were originally all red. The Raphael's red bandana color, which is pretty dope. You know, you have some hardcore fans that's what they believe in. Like, they don't believe in this 4 different colors. Doesn't bother me too much, but I would like to see like just 4 red headbands once. Put it in a movie, put it in a cartoon, you know, put it in a comic book, you know. The color coded thing just gets a little too cartoony. 4 red headbands shows like solidarity, you know, especially when you're thinking about like they're ninjas, so they're pulling from the Japanese culture. And back when Japan was like warring states, I'm sure they were like, you know, like Bloods and Crips. Like, you had like these guys were this color, those guys were that color. I mean, these guys are training all under Master Roshi. It's not like they're getting like different whatevers just because they work with different tools. I'm sure if Leonardo had the nunchucks, he'd be able to do a little something with it, or staff, or anything like that. And same thing with all the other guys. I'm sure they could use each other's tools, maybe not as good as, you know, the main guy with that particular weapon, but you know, just the red headbands. It's kind of like what I get from them. Looks solid. It's also badass. Can't underestimate, you know, that it was the original intention to be that way. Anyways, if I remember correctly, it was it was when they changed over to comics or cartoons that they, you know, for marketing purposes and whatever else, to make the characters more recognizable, because, you know, they all look the same. If you look at the old, you know, the only way you could tell the difference between them was what weapon were they holding. you know, for the most part. But I mean, now that they're more defined in their character, you can make them all red and still have Johnny be all super techie, and have Mikey still be like the radical surfer, whatever. If I ever had an opportunity, that's what I would suggest. It's not a crazy suggestion. I think it's due. A lot of fan art with him with the red headband still. So it's not exactly like people aren't calling for it. Right now. Ooh. Right. What else do I have going on? What is it? Sorry if I'm quiet. I've been talking all night. It's 3:30 in the morning. And after you start drawing for a while, I mean, any artist can tell you, man, as soon as you get into it, it's really easy to just block out that world, man. It's why we can get stuck in our caves, coming out all pale, unshaved, you know, much like gamers when they're on that binge, their little gaming binge, and they come out 5 o'clock shadow and shit. Artists can do that too, man. Nothing wrong with it. Ooh. So yeah, man, just Just enjoy the video for what it is. Just a guy inking. You always want to be careful. You don't want to underestimate lines. Thick lines and thin lines really make a wrong step. You could really change the dynamic of the picture. That's why I like to use that tree branching out idea. Yeah, it's a safe way to just safe. I'm working pretty fast through this, so not being that safe. And plus, when you're branching out, using the whole branch out method, you just follow where the ink is. Look where you have the most ink, and chances are that's probably where you're going to be able to ink if you're working with, working your way down from the thick inks to the thinner inks, or thick brushes to the thinner brushes. You drive me crazy, going Hollywood now. You drive me crazy. You drive me crazy, going Hollywood now. You drive me crazy. So yeah, it's Friday night. Reason why I'm not out doing anything, one, because I don't think there's anything to really do at the moment except for the same old thing: hit the bar, drink, talk to people. That's cool, but I got stuff to do, man. I got this SuperCon coming up. That's what I'm doing this picture for. These pictures, I should say. Anyone who doesn't know, it's a series of 3. I'm working on the 3rd one right now. Just inking. I penciled all 3 of them. Here's one of them. You can look. It's almost the same exact thing. There's 2. It's the one I think I just got done doing earlier tonight, perhaps. This could be the first one I worked on. I don't know. You don't know anymore. You just keep moving. This is the one I'm working on. And yeah, the reason why I'm doing all 3 is that they're all going to be colored differently. And my computer crashed last year, so I lost Photoshop. No more Photoshop, which I kind of welcomed. When I first started to draw as a kid, I worked traditionally all the way until I got into college. And I didn't even know what Photoshop was when I got to college, back in 2006. So, even though I learned it and got pretty decent at it and enjoyed it, after it crashed and it gave me the opportunity to work traditionally again, I welcomed it, man. That's, with a background with wanting to tattoo and graffiti and stuff, like that whole working with your own hands and creating a product that's you know, it's raw. It's a little bit more raw. You don't have that Control Z. If you make a mistake, you gotta kind of roll with it. That's what's dope. That's what's really dope about all this. But you know, I jump on DeviantArt. I got a DeviantArt account, and most of the people I follow are or that I watch technically. They're digital artists, you know. But I enjoy it. I still like it. I just I don't know. This is it's more me sticking to the traditional means. Good. I remember this song that I'm listening to right now. When they dropped the album, they said featuring Snoop Dogg. And I don't know if you heard it or not, but he had that one line in the song. Like that Lady Pink. Lady Pink, a high power West Coast rapper. Rapperess. Doesn't matter. And I was like, what? You gotta be kidding me. Does that even count? I mean, I guess it does. But does it really? Almost felt robbed if I didn't enjoy the album so much. As far as that whole Snoop Dogg line, every time I listen to this song and I hear Snoop Dogg spit that one line, I just think about when I bought it and saw on the cover, featuring Snoop Dogg. That's all he did, the whole album. Like that up, Lady Pink? Classic. You know, but then people be taking sound bites of like people talking, like let's say you throw like the Martin Luther King speech on the beginning of the song or something. No one ever says like featuring Martin Luther King. I don't know. Obviously it was a selling point, but whatever. I'm over it, clearly. I feel like I'm flying through it. There's just so much detail, man. I don't know why I work in so much detail. I don't know where I picked that up from. I think it was just from working with a mechanical pencil. And then at some point, I told myself, you know, to fill up the page, because I was satisfied with the artwork I was creating. It always looked empty to me. And yeah, if you feel the same way about your own work, like you're like, man, I don't know what's missing, and if you're not filling up the page, just tell yourself that, man. Fill up the page. You know, oh, I never did it before, I don't know what I'm gonna do. Good, that's the point. I never used to fill up the page. I used to be like, draw a single character and then leave the rest blank type of artist, when, you know, most people are, and nothing wrong with it, but it can get a little bland or repetitive or a bit empty. You know, you draw like 100 of those and then you're looking through them like a pinup style, and you know, there's always that pinup artist who doesn't just draw the girl. They'll draw the girl like, you know, sitting on a rocket ship, or you know, clutching a teddy bear on the bed, with, you know, the bed sheets and the sheets folded over, whatever. And, you know, you tell yourself to fill up the page, you'll draw things larger as well. Because if, you know, especially when you're just first starting to do it, because you're used to only drawing characters, so when you draw that character and you're determined to take up the page, you're going to draw that character big. And when with me working with the mechanical pencil, my pencil of choice, my weapon of choice, a mechanical pencil covering an entire sheet of paper, man, that's a lot of drawing. And I think that's probably where the all the detail came from, is because I'm working covering a lot of ground with such a small thing. It's not necessary. I know how to draw a simplified image. I have my background in animation. I can draw a simple character with a simple background, but it's not my style, man. I feel like for the most part, most artists, especially like illustrators such as myself, they eventually just aim to go like a realism style, realistic. You know, like a Frazetta or something, Julie Bell, like some of them. That's what I imagine. Not everyone, but people like me, they all end up going for that realism style, and then it's just their stylized version that gets them there, as long as you keep working. Might not even be your goal or intended goal, but you kind of just, the more you keep working, the sort of where you end up. Art imitates life. I guess you could only look at life for so long and draw every single day until you're like, until you just start drawing what you see and your rendition of it. And right now I'm still like mad stylized. My style is very loose and scratchy, and you know, who knows if people like it or not. Like it? Yeah, like it. Yeah, there we go. got a lot of cannabis on my iTunes. I never got rid of it. Don't know if I should have or not. Can't really diss the man or abandon him or pretend like I didn't listen to him a lot. I had to stop. I had to stop on principle, man. You know, this hip hop culture is ruthless. Anyone who's unfamiliar with cannabis, he was like a underground hardcore type rapper back in the 90s. You can find some freestyles with him and DMX and Big Pun and things like that, like way back then, late 90s and things. And he got picked up by Wyclef Jean, and I think it was Gone Till November. I mean, I remember I even liked that song when I was a kid, and that was my first turn on to cannabis, but I really didn't hear him again until 2000 BC, which was after his first album. That 2000 BC was his second album, I believe, and his first album was what was it? Man, I'm drawing a blank right now. I'm drawing turtles right now. I'm drawing a blank. Oh well, can't remember it. But his first album, I don't know, he came up. He was like a battle rapper or whatnot. Gone Till November wasn't a song like that at all. And now I don't remember what happened exactly, but you know, because he was underground rapper, he did a lot of battles, and he battled like LL Cool J, and he had a second round knockout, which was, you know, kind of a crowning achievement that he beat him. But it's LL Cool J, man. You know, I say LL Cool J, you know what I'm talking about. I say cannabis, you may or may not know who I'm talking about, and that's the point. And you know, Eminem, beefed with Eminem for a long time. He's just a guy who created a lot of beefs, man. And I guess that made it so that people didn't want to work with him and things like that. So aggressive, so angry. You know, it's like, you know, you don't want to be making no problems. So he made a bunch of mixtapes and a bunch of albums, and he even had his own record label for a bit. Maybe he still does. It was like Mike Club or something along those lines. And it's kind of like a play off of Fight Club, yeah. And you know, he was dope, man. He was tight. He would rap, and he has the illest lyrics. I'll still put his lyrics up against anybody as far as like written work goes. But because he was a battle rapper, and I feel like he didn't battle anyone for a long time, but he still rapped like a battle rapper. Not like he had like an old 90s style or anything like that, but as far as him, either way, battle rapper style. That's what he did. Angry, stuck to it. Always rapped about being the illest, and you can kind of believe him. You know, I had a cult following and whatnot. I would be a part of that. And you listen to him, he's like, I'm the illest, and he has the illest lyrics, and he kind of does, man. He's way up there. And then, you know, one day this guy, I didn't know him. I'm aware of him now, but I'm still not aware, like, of what he's doing now. Like, if you ask me, hey, what's this guy up to? It's this guy named Disaster, spelled with like Z's and stuff. Disaster. He was a battle rapper out of California. Cannabis is out of New York. And this Disaster guy puts up a video. You can find it. Like, I saw it on, you know, Twitter maybe or something. and he's challenging cannabis, and not only was he challenging him, he actually was like the initial video that I saw, Cannabis had already accepted the challenge, and it was like, yo, it's going down in a few months, and it kind of got hyped over the time, like you know, because they had a few months. It wasn't like, yo, we're gonna rap and we're gonna do it now. I mean, I forget how he got his travel arrangements, but Cannabis like flew out to California and went to his disaster stomping ground to go battle him, and with all the hype and the fact that Cannabis was like considered, you know, an ill battle MC. You know, you're really looking forward to it, and you know, Disaster has his skill, so it wasn't like gonna be a walk in the park or nothing. What ends up happening is, well, I don't know, spoiler alert, you should watch it though. You should really, it's like it was a historical moment. I would say, it was a big moment, definitely. It was a defining moment. You know, it's kind of like, I mean, I wouldn't put it way up there with like Ali versus like somebody, or you know, like Mike Tyson Holyfield, but it kind of had that vibe, you know. And it was all recorded, the whole thing, from like when everyone met up or not, and it was crazy, man. It was like a scene out of like Fast and Furious, except it was like underground battle rap style there in California, with looking like the last scene out of that movie Hobo with a Shotgun. You got all those street people, or like a scene out of Ninja Turtles, like this picture I'm drawing, where you know you had like 2-3 tiers of scaffolding or whatever, second floor, third floor, people just packed, man. Everyone showed up for this, man. Cannabis is about to battle this dude, and this dude is sick, and Cannabis is sick. This is gonna be crazy. Like, it was, you know, the hype was real, man. And I mean, as far as how I saw it go, and this happened years ago. If you didn't know about this, I mean, go watch it. Pause this, go watch it right now. But if you've seen it, you know, you may or may not agree with what I'm saying or with what I'm about to say, but I just remember watching it and I was like, oh, this is crazy, you know. And started off, you know, heads, tails, Disaster wins the coin toss, you know, Cannabis goes first, something like that. And you know, he spits the first verse, and I was like, ooh, this is good, man. It's good. He was like slow, but it's also like a cold start, you know, like anything else. You're not just gonna go off rip like insane. So Cannabis goes first, spits his freestyle battle rap, and it was nice. I liked it. Can't remember what he said, but I remember I liked it, and I felt good about it. And I continue watching. Now it's Disaster's turn, and he turned it up. He turned up the tempo, and it's like, ooh, you know, pass back to Cannabis. The ball's in your court. Cannabis goes, and he kind of, the way that I saw it was like he delivered the same energy he delivered on the first. You know, it wasn't bad, but he didn't, you know, much like how you wanna, like I'm working on this picture. I wanna make sure that this picture is better than my last one. Well, I imagine like when you're even freestyles, no matter how big or how small the project, no matter what it is that you're doing, you always want to make sure that what you're doing currently is going to be better than what you last did. You wake up, you want to be better today than you were yesterday. You know, you spit one verse, you want to make sure your second verse is better than your first one. You know, things like that. And when Cannabis spit his second verse, I don't feel like he did it. I feel like his energy was still where it was on the first verse. So it's kind of like, ooh, you know, you're gonna have to recover. Let's see what this disaster guy does. And like I said, I was unfamiliar with him. Disaster likes to like scream and shout and get mad, amped up like a fucking Viking before, you know, like he's a Viking going into war, screaming for Valhalla, you know, about to smash a motherfucker. And I get it. It gets you amped, kind of lubes up the whole voice thing. I'm sure it helps him like not be what's the word I'm looking for? Help not be coy with his battle rapping as he's battle rapping. You know what I mean? Because he's just screaming like he's going power level 9,000. And you know, and then he spits his second verse, and he stepped it up. His second one was better than his first. His second one, in my opinion, was better than Cannabis' second one. And that's when you're like, okay, Cannabis, the guy who has his own record label, the guy who always spitting about being the illest, the guy who's always battle rapping, the guy who's beef with Eminem, the guy who beef with LL, the guy who, you know, this is it's on you, man. Ball's in your court. You're the illest. And again, he just brought the same energy. It wasn't bad, but I wouldn't say it was better than, you know, what he did the first time. Or maybe it was just as good as what he did the first time. But the fact of the matter is as far as that battle was going, the war was ramping up. You gotta catch up, man. And so he spits his third verse. Nothing to report on that, so to speak. And then what ends up happening is, you know, Disaster again. Whoa, power level 9,000. And he goes in, spits his third one. I mean, at this point, I'm like, man, this guy's kind of goofy that he has to scream like that. Like, that's how I felt. But, you know, that's what works for him. And, you know, either way, he spit the third one, and he ramped it up again. He brought it to level 3. You know, Cannabis still seemed to be at level 1. And it seemed like that was the vibe. Everyone felt that way. You know, you can kind of tell. And at this point, you're getting kind of worried. And then Cannabis, I mean, I forget how many times it went back and forth, but that's basically how it happened, where Disaster kept ramping it up, and Cannabis kind of just stood, like ran in place. And, you know, ran in place in a position that wasn't, you know, top shelf. So, needless to say, you know, Disaster won that. He won that battle, and after it became apparent that he won, Cannabis makes a move, man. He made this move that I can't explain. I don't know why he did it. I mean, I have my theory on why he did it, but I mean, it's just that. It's just a theory, and I don't mean no disrespect. But he does his infamous, what's been, you know, rapped on plenty of times since then by plenty of rappers, you know, bringing it up. He pulls out a notebook or a notepad, and he's like, I got he's like, I got 300 pages written down shit. And it's like, yeah, you do. Sure. That's great. But this is a battle rap, and we don't read off of a notepad when we battle rapping. In fact, nobody does. Cali, New York, no matter where you're from, you know, as far as I know, if there is, I would love to see it put in a movie format. That would be great. 8 Mile notepad style. like slam poetry for the special for the special kids. So, I don't know. So he pulls out a notepad and he starts reading from it, and like I said, he has sick songs, man. When he writes a song, they're killer, man. He puts a lot of thought. Everything is kind of like his lyrics are like mathematically mapped out. You know, everything is great. He spits slow, fast. It's all thoughtful. He could do slow jam, fast jam. It don't matter. It's great. So you know, he pulls out the notepad, which is kind of funny enough as it is, but people let him read it. He's a legend. He starts reading it, and it's still like, all right, what are we doing here? Why did we let this guy do that? Because it still wasn't anything. Wasn't cray cray. Cray cray wasn't even a word yet when this came out, and it wasn't cray cray. So it's kind of like, what's this guy doing? Are we gonna seriously let him continue doing this? So all in all, that's what happened. That's what happened with the Tale of Cannabis. The whole reason why I got into it is because I still have all of his albums, at least up to that point, which was like, I think like his third whatchamacallit. He did like Sea of Tranquility, but he was doing like these mixtapes. He was calling them something. I forget what they're called, but it was kind of like volume 3 of it. And even volume 3 was kind of like less than volume 2, and 2 was less than 1, like the first volume or whatever they were of his latest albums. I'm not sure if he's dropped anything since then. I kind of checked once just to see and kind of listened to it, because I know even though that was kind of like a disgraceful loss, you know, he still has sick scripts, and I'm willing to consider, you know, buying his albums again if he ever decides to drop another one. But yeah, I still got his albums. I just don't listen to them willingly. I got this on random play, and like I said earlier videos, I share my account with like 2 other people, so I got a bunch of 3-6 and a bunch of like, you know, Army of Pharaohs and Jedi mind tricks and stuff like that. I'm not too familiar with, but I know they're badass. I listen to them. You know, Vinny Paz worked a lot with cannabis, so that's how I kind of knew about him. So I have a lot of that but nah, son, I don't know. I don't know him like that. Nothing against him. It's just the way it is. I had cannabis playing, and I'm sure people that are watching, that someone's gonna listen to it and hear it back there and be like, this guy's got cannabis playing. What the fuck? Because I don't know if anyone would listen anymore. I kind of listen just. It's hard to listen, and this is the reason why it's hard to listen. It's because of the ego that he rapped with. You know, and all that time that he hadn't battled anybody, and nobody had battled him. You know, because you go back and you listen to those lyrics, and he's like, you know, demolish you fucks and whatever the well, and you know, sick shit. It's really good. But when you know it's coming from him, and he's Mr. Pull out a notebook on a freestyle battle that I just lost and read some lyrics that were still not, you know, weren't even as strong as his songs, in my opinion. It's like I can't listen to it anymore. It's like what? Santa Claus isn't real? Is that what I'm trying to say? Is that something along those lines? Picture of my big white ass as I listen to Eminem. Double XL. Oh, fuck it, I'll even buy a couple myself, cause I'm just much remember. Regular down a while to fuss about me. Why do you ever give a fuck? for what they did without me. And I really know that you would be without me. There's more to Alright, see, I'm doing it again. I'm starting to go over finer lines with this medium-sized brush. It's what I'm always trying to avoid. I gotta stop doing that, man. Because what happens is my artwork just starts to look thick and bulky. And you know, what's the point of drawing with a mechanical pencil if you're just gonna ink over it with this bulky, you know, this bulky brush? I gotta be careful with that. So I think I might be done with this. What, I'm coming up on an hour? Yeah, I might. Let me take a quick gander. I'm in my 80s and the cut is a green looking good. Looking on the inside, smoke is blowing smoke is blowing the bitches fuck up bitches and they see me getting paid and the ladies say you blowing they be blowing now I'm the North Star. Now they really like me, I'm the North Star. Got Ritz playing. Ritz, kind of strange music. I love it. I first was listening to him on the Yellow Wolf album 0 to 60. He's on that song Box Chevy. It's a classic. I have a hard time listening to that song just because I drive a Volkswagen. Don't get me wrong, I love my Volkswagen. I'd be like, psh, on bitches with the turbo and stuff. I love it. But it's really hard to listen to, you know, that South rap because they're all about the Chevys and Caprices and Caddies and all the classics, man. They're into that. It's hard to listen to that music when you're rolling around in this, you know, beautiful German engineering. Little thing that I do, like I said, as far as the whole branching out thing, is little trick for y'all. Even if you're doing like my method and you want to kind of go my method, like I invented it, you know, similar to me, you want to branch out. A good thing to do, even if you have a thin line and it's next to all this big solid black, but you have a thin line there, you know, maybe go over it with that thin line. You can go ahead and go over it with something a little bit thicker. It's already surrounded by black, and honestly, if it's surrounded by that much, probably better off making it with a thicker line so that you could actually see it pronounced and everything like that. Because as a finished product, you can go ahead and go over it with a thin brush if you want, but chances are you're not even going to see it, and you're going to go over it with the thin brush a few times, you know, just so that you can make that line pronounced. So, you know, but that's something that you pick up over time. Me personally, just wanted to drop a little tidbit for you. You can just hit it with a slightly thicker brush and be done with it. Done with that, son. Done with mine. Done with mine. Alright. I think it's time to switch from the medium to the fine. Alright, so see you guys soon. Thanks for watching. Don't be afraid to leave any comments, any critiques, whatever you got to say. You could say it. It's all good. And the like buttons are appreciated. Thank you. This is GMrDrew signing off with the INKS. Peace.